But chat, I'll be reviewing Predator 2 tonight. Now, I want to show a hands here of internet hands, chat. How many of you guys have seen Predator 2, and do you like the film? Because I can go into briefly how my general thoughts about the movie. I think it's a fun film overall. I love the change of setting. I think that was a very smart choice to do it. Matter of fact, when they wanted to do a sequel, they wanted to emphasize, like, okay, like we did the jungle, what would be the next place where we could set the Predator? And that was one of the pitches they gave the studio, 20th Century Fox, was like, hey, let's give it an urban setting, you know, a concrete jungle setting. And they dug that. And I think the movie uses that quite well. Quite well. Oh, it's a little campy, and we'll get into some of the some of my issues with it. Edgy Berserker, welcome to stream, and thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it. 4 months in a row, man. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well this fine Monday evening. Just asking people what they think of Predator 2. And so I love the aesthetic of the film. And Danny Glover. I think Danny Glover, I mean, he is overacting his ass off like a lot of other people. Like, you think the personalities in the original Predator were big? This one goes, oh no, fucking hold my skull and spine, thank you very much. They go up to 11. And I think that does undercut the film to a certain extent. Because I think, okay, Danny Glover, he's chewing on scenery, he's the cop, and he has lines like, you fucking rip my dick off and put it up my ass, that's what I'm dealing with. It's like, okay, that's a little too much, you could tone it down, you know? Tone it down to the level of like Jesse Ventura or Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I can't believe I'm saying that, but yes, tone it down there, Danny Glover, but he's still fun. Honestly, it's some of the supporting cast, which kind of bothered me. Like, I hate to say this, but like Bill Paxton, I love the guy. He was a great genre actor. You know, had a long-lasting career. Passed away way too soon at the age of 50, I believe. I just don't like him in this movie. Everything is it's like everything's like a catchphrase or leading up to a joke, and like I don't find that charming. And when he makes his exit out of the film, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. Who's that? The host? Oh, chat. As I always say, I always appreciate the host that helps spread the word of the Rev Knights. Iron Laser, welcome to stream. So, and I think that there is some really awkward and campy humor, specifically dealing with the Predator himself. Like, I like a lot of the new additions they add to the Predator in this movie. All the aesthetic things, like they change his weapon set. You think back to the original film, chat, it's like, really, he had the plasma caster, he had the cloaking ability, and he had the wrist blade. But that was really it. And, of course, the bomb, he kills himself with at the end. But that's really it. Well, here they introduce a whole plethora of other weapons. He has the combo stick, he has the spear gun, he has the net gun. The Predator design's a little different, so again, it shows like they don't all look alike. They all have their own kind of like the various skin tones and things and armor sets. So it's like, I kind of like that. So yeah, I liked all the new weapons. The discs, chat, the throwing disc, even though it looks a little weird how they use it sometimes. They have it, once it's kind of like used to like block things and stuff, when it's like thrown, it looks a little goofy. But I do like all the additional weapons they added to this. Who was that? Oh, we got another. Oh, Osnick, welcome to stream. Thank you for the host, my friend. So, but the humor they have with the Predator, and we'll get to it in the film, but they do something several times, and it completely undercuts the threat of the Predator himself, and that really bothered me. Smart disc, thank you, Devin. It's a smart disc. But overall, it's still an enjoyable movie. Like, if I had to give something on the DT scale, it'd be a matinee, but it's definitely not as strong as the original film. I mean, it's leagues better than The Predator. There's no doubt about that. Let me preference that, Chad. The Predator is bullshit. It has like a low, some old bullshit, borderline a fuck you. Just some of the things they fucking pull in that film. So this is still a very fun movie. Yeah, I know, I agree, Mr. Cobb, I'm right there with you. I think Predators is a great sequel. It's, surprisingly really fun and imaginative third entry in a series. And yeah, I'd probably give that one like a low full price or even full price. Still not as good as obviously the original film, but did a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my general thoughts. Kind of see what you guys are talking about, how you think of the film overall. I know I just went on for a little bit. Edgy Berserker Predator, she was the first one I saw and love it. There you go, fair enough. Herbalic agree, I thought it was decent, found it fun. The RNJ, Urban Jungle, yep. Starshete saw clips. Genovic watched it. I enjoyed it. Andy, I have. It's good, but my rank in the films is, yeah, like mine. Zodiac, I have it on VHS. Nice, man. Other media, it's pretty good, not as bad as people say. No, it's not. It's not as bad. Like, that's the thing, Chad. We'll get into some of the history of this film, but I kind of told you, like, they wanted to change the setting. That was emphasized. Schwarzenegger was not interested in coming back at this time. That's like, okay, we'll recast. We'll get a new lead instead of like a commando, you know, operating the jungle or something like that. A soldier. They decide, hey, let's fucking put crime into it. It's a detective story. I was like, I kind of like that. And by the way, Chad, even though it's a detective story, even though it's a crime film, I mean, they set up, no, it's a fucking war zone in 1997 Los Angeles. Because they also do like a weird, I mean, it's very, very subtle. Because even though the movie takes place 5 years, like, I mean, in terms of like, you know, Predator came out in 85, Predator 2 came out in 90, they set this film in 1997. And they kind of hint at that it's slightly dystopian, just a little bit that like gangs have taken control of Los Angeles. I think they specifically say it's between a the Mexican cartel and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to get it right. And a Jamaican. It's a Colombian. It's a Colombian cartel and the Jamaican cartel. And they're kind of going at war with each other, and the citizens of Los Angeles are kind of caught in the middle. But, I mean, these guys are decked out in, like, gold armor and shit. They have, like, heavy firepower. Like, they're rocking the weapons that Arnold Schwarzenegger and his crew are rocking in the original Predator. While the policemen and the policewoman of Los Angeles, they got their little pistols. And they have, like, these weird little features on, I guess, to make them look slightly futuristic. But I was like, I totally forgot that they kind of were going for, like a slight dystopian feel to the movie, because it's been a little while since I saw it. But yeah, I mean, I like the urban aesthetic, the urban setting. Now, the film was not nearly as successful as the original movie. It got torn apart by critics. I was actually shocked. A lot of people did not like the movie. They criticized. I mean, the only thing that they really did appreciate was just the new stuff they did with the Predator, coming what we went over. But they did not like the acting. They did not like the writing. They did not like the plot. And audiences didn't really respond as well to this as the original film. Had a budget of about $35 million, and worldwide only made $57.1. And that's why Fox, they put the Predator franchise on ice for a while. To this, it's like, okay, maybe all right. We thought we could sell it with a new setting and things, a new star, but this didn't work. And I'll tell you this, Chet. Danny Glover, he does a good job. Like he's always, I think, made fun of. He's like, oh, he's the detective that's going to retire in 2 weeks. But he does a good job of the action scenes. Like, I bought his stuff. I didn't have an issue with that. But I guess audiences just didn't respond. And they put the Predator franchise on ice all the way until, I was like, oh my God, you're right. Alien vs. Predator was the next time the Predator debuted in film. 2014 years later, chat. It's kind of nuts to think of that. Yeah, Devin, I agree with you. It's overhated. I have issues with it, and we'll get into it, but there's like, The Predator is far worse. Anyone who's telling me that The Predator is better than Predator 2, I'm just like, I thoroughly disagree. And I got my reasons, Chap. But as I said, guys, we got to get into the review, and I got to take a swig, because it's going to get hot. No, you're right, Andy. Danny's good, but he's no Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're right. Arnold had that kind of charisma. And the other thing, too, chat, other than, like, a couple lines in this movie, there are no catchphrases that stick with you. Like, want some candy? Which a fucking 10-year-old kid says. This little 10-year-old chubby kid is offering candy to the Predators. Like, there's that line. That's pretty iconic. And, I don't really know what... that's the one I always remember. There might be something else. Doom a welcome to stream. But I can't recall if there's... Let me know, Chad. There's something as iconic in Predator 2 as, what's up, candy? And Andy, we'll get into it. We'll fucking get into it with the Predator speaking. That's one of my issues with this film. But chat, I'm going to set the scene for you. It's 1997. And we are just moving over this coast. It's like looking all tropical. It's like, oh my God, are we back in the jungle again? Are we in the jungles of Guatemala? No, chat. We're in the middle of Los Angeles. It is the far distant future of 1997, a slight dystopian, aesthetic chat going on right here, and gangs have taken over Los Angeles, chat. They're fighting over territory, and there's nothing that the Los Angeles police force can do, except they have Danny Glover, and thank God, because they'd be fucked without him, chat. Well, he's not in the film yet. And so we are just in the middle of a massive shootout between this subsection of the Colombian drug cartel called the Scorpions, chat, and these guys come straight out of a fucking comic book or a cartoon of the 80s. I mean, I expect them to work it for fucking Cobra because they are decked out all in gold. They have this weird body armor shit. They're constantly firing off Uzis. And, of course, in typical Predator film fashion, chat, no one is aiming. No one is aiming at each other. It's just fucking firing from the hip the entire time. They apparently took down 2 bike cops, because that's the situation right here. You got the Scorpions. They're firing on the police across this barrier. Police are firing back on it. And in between this crossfire, chat, you got 2 down police officers. No one can get to him. You got a fucking reporter, chat, who's an asshole throughout this movie. He's constantly reporting all the carnage. I think that's a show called Hardcore. 97 violence or some shit like that. He's reporting all this, chat. It's like, we can't get these 2 down officers. What are we gonna do? And chat, up comes Danny Glover. He drives up there. He doesn't care about fucking traffic laws here, chat, because he just drives into that fucking shit, banging his vehicle about. He gets out. There's like, guys, what do you need me to do? And we're introduced to some of his pals, chat. We got Danny Boy, who is a Hispanic man, but they make Irish references because I guess his name is Danny, so Danny Glover calls him Danny Boy. And we have Maria, Lieutenant Maria, chat. Or no, just Detective Maria. And so, like, we are pinned down, Danny Glover. We need your help. He's like, I got it, guys. And then he fucking loads up his, fucking car, chat. He puts on some Kevlar vests on the right side windows. And he... he rips off his goddamn door, and he just goes headline right down the middle towards these Scorpions, guys. And he's just out there blasting. Who's watching this happen right now, chat? I mean, they're very early on, by the way. Like, the original film, The Predator, it took a little while before we got to the Predator, like, looking at him and stuff. The Predator's like, I'm watching this shit. This is fucking amazing. This guy's got Kevlar fucking vests in his car, and he's just guns blazing. He's not even aiming at anything. He's hitting these guys. And goddamn Danny Glover, he's riding right towards him, chat, and all he's doing is blasting. And these guys, there's too much fucking hip fire for us. He's too accurate. We got to get out of here. And so we follow, like, the leaders. I guess he's like Scorpion 1. I don't know what his name is, chat. But he's like the leader of the Scorpions. They're like, we got to get back in our building, our tenement. And so they run in their chat, and Danny Glover, he wants to go after them, but the fucking police force, the SWAT team is like, we can't go in. Got the villain from License to Kill, he plays, I guess, the DA or something. He has some position of power. Yo, Smitty! Welcome to stream. Thank you for the 100 biddies. Hope you're doing well today. I'm just in the middle of the climactic battle between the LAPD and the Scorpion Colombian drug cartel. And so they won't, since the villain from License to Kill won't let Danny Glover in, he's like, I'm going to ignore that. We're going to go in anyway. But chat, now we're just following the Scorpion gang, and we get into their abode, and they're just loading up on all the weapons that were left over from Arnold Schwarzenegger's guys from the first film. I mean, they got M16. They might as well have fucking Old Painless in there, chat. And they're just snuffing mountains of cocaine. Like, they just open a bag, take a handful, chat. Just, they're gonna get into it. It's like, there's gonna be some bloodshed here. And some of these people are just, they're working in this building. It's like a building filled with sweatshops. These people just trying to get by. And they're all about to die because of these goddamn Scorpions, chat. But then what happens above them? All this glass comes crashing down. These fucking idiots. It's like, you should probably cover your eyes when the glass comes crashing so it fucking embeds in their face. And they're screaming and everything. They're hip firing as much as they can, chat. And then who comes down there? The Predator, chat. The Predators. We don't see what happens. We just hear the fucking plasma caster blasting. We hear people getting shredded and a lot of screaming. And then eventually, silence. But Danny Glover, he takes his guys up there, Danny Boy, Maria, chat, some of the SWAT team guys. They fuck the guy from License to Kill. Wait, I don't care about him, okay? He wasn't a great villain in my opinion. So we were going to go up here and check on Scorpion 1. And so they go up there, chat. They're opening up different doors. Again, these people just live in here. They're just working these sweatshops. Terrible conditions, by the way. And it's fucking hot. Again, the kind of dystopian setting in. It's pretty cool. Eventually, they get to the doors like, we got to check that door. And all of a sudden, the fucking Scorpion 1 just bursts out, chat. And he's just, he's covered in blood. Covered in cocaine. He's like fucking Nicolas Cage from Mandy, chat. And he's just blasting, and he turns 90 degrees, and he starts blasting. He's blasting anyone he sees. Blasts Danny Glover and Maria, and Danny Boy kills a couple of the SWAT guys, and he just fucking runs up the stairs through the power of cocaine, chat. He's moving fast, and he's like, I gotta get up there. And so Danny Glover, he chases him up there, chat. But the Scorpion, the leader of the Scorpions, he's just so panicked, he's so wired, and he's just constantly looking around. And then he gets, so stupid, he gets to the very edge of the building. He's just standing there. He's like, you're not going to get me. And Danny Glover's like, he comes up there, Chad. He's like, freeze, don't move. So Danny Glover, even though he's killed a bunch of people, he's like, I'm still going to take you in for what you've been doing. And the guy, he's not even looking at Danny Glover, but we see him. The Predator, again, just revealing himself. It's like, hi. He's got the invisible outline and shit. And that guy just turns, he's like, ah! And he's shooting at them. And then Danny Glover just plugs him, chat, with a couple of big old Magnum bullets. Scorpion 1, he falls off the building, shit. It's a cool kind of death scene, slow-mo effect. Boom! On a picnic table, chat. He's just laid out like a good spread, a good hunk of meat. And the cops are like, we gotta check to see if he has a pulse. I don't think so. I think the fucking cocaine ended that. And he was powered by, he would have died no matter what, chat. He was having a heart attack as we speak, but he's dead. Danny Glover's like, fucking, oh, this is so stupid. Danny Glover, he turns around and he sees the Predator right in front of him. He sees them as well. The Predator's like, I'm not gonna move. It's like, first of all, this Predator must be been a young buck, chat, because he is not as stealthy as the Jungle Hunter in any case. He's just like, I'm just gonna kind of sneak away. And Danny Glover's like, am I seeing this right? Is this right? He's like, oh, he kind of plays it off. It must be the heat getting to me. Because apparently it's like 109 degrees in Los Angeles. Yet the fucking ozone layers just disappeared above Los Angeles. And so it's very hot. Which again, attracts the Predator, all the violence too. And so eventually Danny Boy gets up there. And Danny Glover, he's telling Maria's up there too. He's like, yeah, I mean, he was shooting at me, I think, even though he was firing wide. The hip accuracy is not good. And so I had to plug him, and he had to fall down, and there he's probably dead. And they're like, yeah, man, but the goddamn villain from License to Kill wants to talk to you. He's not too happy. He's like, fuck, I don't want to go there. He's like, oh, because he's afraid of heights, Chad. It's like a weird little character quirk at the end of Danny Glover. He's terrified of heights, and so he's like, oh, he's woozy. And the Predator's just watching all this shit. He's just sitting there, just watching them. RNJ. Thank you so much for the description. 13 months on an 11th month streak. Thank you so much, man. We gotta do a cartoon poll now, I believe. Yep, hit it. We did it. Thank you so much, man. He's a new Predator. I agree, Harold Bug. He's doing some rookie mistakes. He got some of his quarry escaped and everything. Yeah, this guy's a little... Ooh, chat. Elliot with another 600 video donations. Thank you. We're getting hyped now. Gotta go brave the grocery store. Great summary so far, though. Might be back from before stream's over. Hey, man. Thank you so much for the 600 biddies, and thank you for getting the hype. Appreciate that. It's like I just took a fistful of cocaine. I was like one of the Scorpions in that moment. Thank you for giving that to me, Elliot. And so, Predator's just fucking watching anyway. It's so goofy. He's just like, oh, there's that guy going. There's that guy going. I'm gonna tag you. What? Witness me! War Boys! We are War Boys! Chat all the support all at once. Julian, Mr. Hummendinger. Thank you so much, my friend. What? Oh my god, and Chris Ayers following up the sub 20 months in a row. Mr. Hummendinger, thank you much for the raid. That was very cool. What are you playing, man? We playing some Predator? And thank you, Chris Ayers, for the subscription, the resub. Appreciate that, my man. Oh! And RNJ with 100 bitty donation. Wow, guys, seriously, thank you so much. That wow, everything right back to back. That was so kind of you. Thank you. Hope you all guys are doing very well. Luthor T-Man, welcome to stream. No, good to see you guys. And so Predator, he's just fucking looking, and he's looking at Danny Glover. He's gonna go speak to the villain from License to Kill, Chad. He's the. I guess I don't know what his position is. I guess he's the lieutenant. Yeah. I guess he's the lieutenant. And so he's lieutenant guy from License to Kill. So he goes down there, and Lieutenant's like, I gave you a direct order not to pursue the Scorpions into the building. And then we get all this weird dialogue from Danny Glover. It's like you're ripping my dick off and putting up my ass. It's like, that's weird. That was very specific. I don't know what your internet history is looking like in 1997, Danny Glover, but that was a very odd thing to say. And Lieutenant's like, I don't have time for this. You are going crazy, okay? You're a loose cannon, Danny. And it's funny, Chad, because you never think of Danny Glover as the loose cannon. He's always the guy that's trying to calm, like, his crazy partner down, like fucking Riggs, Mel Gibson. You don't expect that from Danny, but he's like, he must have learned from Mad Mel, chat, because he's doing that. But he's just upped it. He's like, I gotta be even crazier than Riggs. I think that must have been his what he wanted to go for. It's like, okay, it's like people say I'm the old guy all the time. I'm the partner that's got to retire, so I have to be even crazier than Mel Gibson. And he does a good job in this movie for that. It's a little too exaggerated for my taste, but it's still fun. Yo, Smitty, gifting a sub to Little Cubanina 67. Thank you so much, Yoli Smitty. All the support tonight, guys. Again, thank you so much. Really, really do appreciate it. Wow. And so the lieutenant, he walks off, and Danny Glover still goes after him nonetheless. And Danny Boy's got a hold, like, no, man, no, don't go after him, don't do that. He just doesn't give a shit. That must have been improvised too, because even the actor who plays the lieutenant is like, whoa, what's going on? Are we still doing the scene? It was pretty goofy. And the Predator, again, the Predator is just watching all this shit. He's like, this is some soap opera shit I'm seeing right here. The fucking tempers are high, and I like it. That makes for prime hunting. And then later, chat, we cut back to the precinct, and it looks like just a shit. I mean, I think the precinct in RoboCop is infinitely better. Just the way it looks. It looks clean. This place, I mean, it's all on the front. It's again, that's why you have the dystopian kind of feel. All on the front's covering the graffiti. You have all the homeless people just sitting up there. Anyone, I mean, the building is just max capacity with book criminals. They can't put them anywhere. And we go inside, everyone's just beating the shit out of each other. Everyone's fighting, everyone's wrestling. It's like, my God. And Danny Glover's like, it's another day in the office. And someone just gets fucking headbutted, chat. And then the other person headbutts them. It's nuts. And then it runs into Bill Paxton. And listen, Bill Paxton was a very talented actor. He's in some of my favorite movies of all time. You know, he's known for playing exaggerated characters. You know, I mean, from Aliens to Terminator, and Tombstone, one of the Earp brothers. So he's a talented guy, but a lot of his dialogue here is meant to be humorous, and I just never found it funny. Like, everything he's doing is a setup to a joke. Here's the thing. It's set up to a joke, and we don't hear half the setup. We hear, like, part of the setup, and then the ending of the joke, and that just feels really awkward to me. And so, I know there's some people really like his character in this, but I just don't. I just really don't like what they were doing with him. And he bumps into him, and he's again midway telling a joke to somebody, and everyone's just fucking sweaty too. He's sweating through his goddamn like yellow suit that he has on, his like mustard yellow suit. Like, it's not like, I should say yellow mustard, chat, like that stone ground mustard yellow suit. But Danny Glover, he's got to go ahead and talk to the captain now, chat. And the captain, he does those for you. You're a loose cannon, but I like you, okay? Listen. Things are happening right now. We have to be beholden to the feds. Got the thing right when Danny Glover left the scene. All these fucking federales, chat. They all entered the building. We also saw, yes, the man himself, chat, Gary fucking Busey. Post-accident Gary Busey seemed to be still okay. But goddamn Gary Busey, chat, and he went in there. It's like, something's afoot when Gary Busey's around. And the captain's like, Danny, be calm. You don't want fucking Danny Glover and Gary Busey in the scene. That's just a fucking powder keg. Don't set them off. But he invites Gary Busey in there, and Gary Busey's like, hi, I'm just here to help the investigation. I've heard a lot about you. I heard, like, Gary Busey's trying to be a nice guy. Like, I've heard you're a nice cop, and Danny Glover is giving him nothing. It's like, you know what? If I was a fucking captain or lieutenant, I could totally understand being pissed off at Danny Glover. Because he doesn't read anyone's Miranda rights. He could give a shit about the letter of the law. And he just doesn't talk to anyone or show any respect. Like, the only one he does respect, I guess, are his two friends at this point, Maria and Danny, who serve under him, chat. And part of his drug unit, I guess. But other than that, he's, like, super disrespectful. And Gary Busey's like, come on, man. We can't be both crazy in here. Just relax a little bit. And, Danny's like, oh, okay. And he fucking leaves the room, chat. He goes in his office. Then him and Danny watch the interaction between Maria and Bill Paxton. And Bill Paxton right in the middle of one of his jokes of her. And Maria's just had enough of that shit because she instantly just grabs him, chat, by the dick and balls and squeezes. And we see Bill Paxton go, just scream in the middle of the precinct. He's like, please let me go. And it's like, you're stop with your goddamn dumb jokes and stories. Like, I'm gonna do that, man. She lets go, Chen. She walks away. She has to unclench her hand because it was clenched. And then then goddamn Bill Paxton, he waddles in. And Glover's like, oh, you're our new replacement. Okay, well, Bill Paxton, I heard you're a good cop. And then Bill Paxton gets a little serious because he kind of has not like a chip on his shoulder, but he's a little he's the comic relief in the movie. But Danny Glover says, like, listen, this is a fucking war that we're in, man. All right, it's 1997. Goddamn different gangs are fighting over all this shit. Like, we need you. You're head in the game. And Bill Paxton, I was like, okay, maybe this will be the turn for the character, where he actually, he stands at attention. He's listening to what Danny Glover's saying. He's a little calmer. He was like, okay, maybe that was just all bravado, and that's kind of going to end. It doesn't. It doesn't. He's still the same way throughout the rest of the film. But then he leaves, and fucking Danny Glover's like, hey, kid, welcome to the war. And then, chat, we cut to a Los Angeles skyscraper where two people are having hot sex, chat. It's 117 degrees outside. No one has an air conditioner in the city anymore, and these two people are just going at it, chat. An apartment that has like an Aztec aesthetic, an Aztec motif going on, and they're fucking going at it, chat. And then all the goddamn sudden, the doors bust in, and it's the Jamaican cartel, chat. It's like, why the hell are they here? And then they strung up the one person. The lady was fucking, apparently this guy, he's the leader of the Colombian cartel in Los Angeles. And because of the whole shenanigans that were happening, around the city, like, this is a big play by the Jamaican cartel, specifically by King Willie, chat. He is the Jamaican drug lord in question. He came over from Jamaica because he just grew too powerful, had it over the States. Get a piece of that good, sweet American apple pie for himself. And this guy's fucking nuts. I mean, I wish he was in the movie more. But he's just setting out his acolytes right now because, like, okay, yeah, we're going to kill you, but we're going to fuck you up, like, really bad first. So they strip the Colombian drug cartel guy up there, and the whole guy's going, it's like, now, we're going to kill you. That's obvious at this point. But I've been instructed, even the guy's laughing, delivering this dialogue. I have been instructed, verbatim, from King Willie himself, to fucking perform a voodoo ritual on you, and not only kill you, but take your soul, enslave your soul. And so, Chad, he starts lathering this guy in chicken blood. The girl's just screaming. She's panicking at this point. What's going to happen to her? We don't know. You know, he's all covered in chicken blood, Chad. He gets this giant knife, and he just plunges it into this guy's chest. He just starts, like, going down. It takes, like, a good thrust, because this is your sternum, chat. There's a lot of bone right there, and so he fucking cut right in this guy, and he just went down. This is a big Jamaican guy. But then who, of course, is watching that, chat? Because he loves to watch. This Predator's a bit of a voyeur. It's the Predator, chat, and he's watching all this shit take place. Like, that's McHugh, and he just begins blasting everybody. And this is where we get, like, a showcase of all of his new tech, chat. So he uses the net gun here, blasts a guy, and the net begins, like, enclosing over his face, fucking him up really bad. He has a spear gun, chat. He uses that a couple times. One of the spear tips gets stuck in a vent. That's very important for later. And he's using the combo stick, too. He's just stabbing people, plasma caster, all that shit. Eventually, like, the last guy, and we get the iconic line from this, I guess, is the comic line in the movie. So the Predators, they love to pick up audio cues of catchphrases throughout this film series. And during the conversation, the Jamaican guy's like, yeah, I mean, I've been instructed to steal your soul, voodoo magic, man, you know, whatever. I mean, all I know is shit happens. The Predator's like, that's fucking funny. I'm going to use that for later. Shit happens. That's a good one. Okay, I'm going to kill everybody now. And so then he stabs, he disembowels the shit happens guy. Shit does happen. And then later, none of the girls just screaming, chat. And then everyone from the LAPD, they're called down to see what's happening at this big old skyscraper with the Aztec motif, chat. And Danny Glover, he's there with his people. Bill Paxton, Maria, Danny Boy, chat, all of them there. But they've already been told, apparently they come in through the radio, nah, fucking Gary Busey and his boys, they called it off. Like, no, they got to get there first. And Danny Glover, he's like, I didn't hear that. Did you guys hear that? Nope. And they go up there, chat. And what they see before them is what we saw in 1985, chat. All these Jamaican cartel guys, they've all been skinned alive. Some of them have their skulls missing, chat. Like, it is not a good scene. It's like, what the hell happened? Danny Glover's like, was this, I mean, this is so odd. I guess the Jamaicans were here and they killed the Colombian drug boss, but who killed the Jamaicans? Did the Colombians come in there? Or is there a new player in town? Because he's like, you know what? This all starts to make sense. Colombians got hit, Jamaicans got hit. And we have them both all dead here. There must be a new player in town. And Danny's like, and Danny, he sees the spear tip. He's like, look at that spear tip. Danny's like, and Danny Glover's like, that looks weird. And then eventually, chat, Maria, she hears someone whimpering, and we find the girl. And Maria's talking to her in Spanish. She's saying, like, what happened? The girl says, not making any sense. She just say it came for us. The devil, El Diablo, chat. That's all the Spanish I know. El Diablo came for everybody and took them, skinned them alive, ripped their skulls. It was bad. And they're like, we got to get you out of here. But dead shot, before they do, fucking Gary Busey kicks in the door. He's in there, big dick Gary Busey. His boys get in, his boys in blue. And like, you disobeyed an order. Get the hell out of here. There'll be no repercussions, by the way. There's no repercussions for Danny Glover in this movie. Like, every time he disobeys an order, they go, whatever. So, he always gets a reprimand. I think it happens at least 3 times in the movie, and yeah, nothing comes of it. No, 4 times, matter of fact. And so they all go downstairs, they get kicked out. Gary Busey's like, this is a top secret operation. And they set up their whole shit. Eventually, they're back on the sidewalk. The fucking crazy guy from Hardcore, like that reporter, Bill Paxton beats the shit out of him, which is pretty funny. So that was one redeeming thing for Bill Paxton's performance. But Danny Glover says, Danny boy, yeah, that spear tip looked weird. Why don't you go and get that, like, in a few hours, and I'll meet with you at 1. I don't know, that was 1 p.m.? Is that 1 a.m.? That was not specified, chat. But good old Danny boy, he's going to go get that spear tip. Now, later in the night, Danny boy, he's up there, chat. And he's like, oh, the fucking spear tip's still there. And, like, all the bodies have been taken down. They collected all the evidence. Like, it's been cleaned out. Still bloody floors and shit. He's like, this is fucked up. And Danny boy, he crawls on top of all the Aztec motifs. And he gets up there, chat. He's by the one vein. He's like, oh, it's hard to get. He's like, and he pulls it out, chat. He's like, yeah. And then the fucking Predator's there. He's like, oh. And the Predator, like, Danny boy, he falls down. But the Predator grabs him by his ankle, chat. And it lifts him up. Danny boy's like, no. He's panicking now. He thought he was a badass before, chat. And he just starts shooting, chat. And he starts plugging this Predator, but to no avail. Then we see Danny boy's necklace drop to the floor, chat. And a stream, really it was like a few droplets, but I'll say a stream for dramatic effect. A stream of blood follows it. And then we don't see what happens to him, because then we immediately cut to a funeral. I was like, wow, okay. Not going to find the body. There was a scene cut out of here, I have to imagine. Or maybe they just did it for pacing reasons. I don't know. I think the movie's fairly well paced, but we immediately cut to a funeral. They're burying the body. And Danny, he just got done with a meeting with the captain. He is fucking pissed. He's like, I'm gonna find Danny's killer. You ripped my dick off and put it up my ass. He always says that, Chad. It's weird. And he's going out there. Bill Paxton's there. Maria's there. They're like, you gotta calm down, man. You were screaming really loud. He's like, no. And then, Chad, who does he see walk out an office door? Goddamn Gary Busey. And Gary Busey's just reading some files. He's actually not bothering anybody, chat. But Danny, he just fucking beelines. And he's knocking people over just to get to Gary Busey. And Gary Busey's like reading. Danny Glover comes up behind him, puts his arm around his shoulder, and is like, how you doing, man? Grabs him by the front and slams into a stone wall. It's like, no, you can't do that. He had the accent. It's gonna get me more concussed. And Gary Busey's like, whoa! And Danny's like, I fucking know what you did, man. I know you're into something right now. You're into the shit. I gotta find out what this is. You gotta tell me. He's like, you have to relax. Listen, I'm sorry. Like, again, Gary Busey being very nice. He's like, listen, I'm sorry for what happened to your partner, okay? But you're getting fucking involved in stuff that you can't even comprehend, okay? Now, please let me down. And he lets him down, chat. And he walks away. He goes off with Maria. And he goes off with Bill Paxton now on the outside the street of Los Angeles, chat. Los Angeles. And he's like, okay, well, since the FBI aren't going to help me, my own fellow LAPD officers aren't going to help me, I got to contact the Jamaican cartel? He's like, I need to talk to them. They must be more helpful. And then, chat, they jump through some goddamn weird plot hole-sized hoops for this scene. Because he just tells Maria, go get in contact with King Willie. I want to set up a meeting. And she goes, okay. And I was like, really? You could just do that? You could just set up a meeting with all the most dangerous, literally the most dangerous drug cartel leader in Los Angeles, and just like that? And Bill Paxton, he's like, wait, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I got to set up a meeting with Big Willie, and, or King Willie. Call him Big Willie. King Willie. And I got to get to the bottom of this. There's a new player in town. Someone's attacking him. I don't like it. It's weird. And then later that night, chat, I guess it was like a couple hours later, and fucking, like Bill Paxton and, that's the other thing. No, before that, I forgot this key scene. And so while they're doing that, before they do that, they go back in the office because Danny Glover found, I guess, in the body of, what's his name? Goddamn, Danny Boy. he found the spear tip. He's like, oh shit, that's important. And so he's like, okay, we got to get this analyzed. And so he takes it to this doctor at the LAPD. He's like, I'll put that in the machine right there, and they can't identify it. It's like it's no material that's on the periodic table. It's like, we don't know what the hell this is. This is bizarre. And he's like, that's weird. I'm gonna take it though. It's gonna keep it for safekeeping, Paxton, chat. And then later, he goes outside the LAPD. Him and Bill Paxton talking, and what fucking rolls up, chat? Just a car that it has this billowing, chat, billowing with fucking weed smoke pouring out of it. I mean, you can see this thing from a mile. Okay. Just billing out this thing. The windows come down. It's just even more right in your face. And it's like, King Willie wants to see ya. And it's like, okay, I gotta go. And Bill Paxton's like, I should probably come with you. He's like, nah, man, no. You gotta, I'll wait for you. I'll call you, Bill Paxton. That's what you need to do. And then chat, I guess fucking, Danny Glover, he goes in the car. And then they just drive to King Willie. And fucking Predator's watching the entire time. He's like, I see where you are, motherfucker. And he's like watching this Bill Paxton down the street. And eventually, Danny Glover, he is dropped off at an alley, chat. And he's like, go down the alley. That's where you meet King Willie. And he goes down the alley, chat. And then we see quite a fucking character who I wish was in the movie more. Like, this is the type of exaggerated character I would have liked to have seen more. Because the actor does a great job. I don't know who this guy, what's this guy's name? He's really, really fun. He barely has any screen time in this movie. Calvin Lockhart. Yeah, he's the boss of the Jamaican Voodoo Posse, as it's called, chat. The Jamaican Voodoo Cartel. And, I don't know what Danny Glover wanted to learn from him. I don't know if he even got it. Because Danny Glover's like, hey, I think we can come to a mutual, agreement here. So there's a new player in town. Do you know anything about him? And Kill Willie just like, I don't know, man. I don't know who he is. But I do know where he is. And he just takes out like a bunch of chicken bones and throws them on a dumpster. He's like, yes, no, this guy's from the spirit world, Danny Glover. Danny Glover's like, this is a big waste of time. And Billy's like, nah, this guy is not of this world. Which, I mean, he's right. Not the spirit world, but he's saying it's not of this world. I don't know, I can help you with this, but now get the fuck out of here. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And Danny Glover's like, well, that was not productive. And then he... KFC chicken. Oh, Zodiac. And so Daniel was like, okay, I guess I'm going to go see my friend's grave then because I didn't do that. I'll see you later, King Willie. And King Willie, he just fucking playing with his chicken bones, chat. He's just throwing those out there, reading the bones, saying it's like they're always coming up the same. Always coming up the same. What's coming up the same? You going to explain that, King Willie? Not explain whatsoever. And all of a sudden, chat, you see some debris fall from a rooftop and it splash in this big, giant puddle of water. And then who's there, chat? It's the Predator. And the Predator, he just lands there on the ground. And then we see him in all of his glory. Because he's walking in this... It's a good effect. I like this. It's a very good scene. It's like, I wanted more of this. He's like, whoa, it's going to be a showdown between King Willie, and the goddamn, Predator, chat. And he's just stopping there, and it's slowly his cloaking is decloaking. And he's got, like, these wrist plates. He goes, let's go. And King Willie, he has, like, this weird, like, snake... sword, and he pulls it out. He's like, let's fucking go, man, let's go. And then immediately cuts to his severed head, just screaming. I was like, well, you were setting this up for something so cool, and it just ends like, okay. I mean, it's a fun sight gag, but it's like, I wanted so much more with that character. And we barely got 5 minutes, I want to say. I say 3 minutes of screen time at least, yeah. Also counting the severed head. It's very much a true subversion of expectations. So Predator got another skull, and then we go to the Predator ship, chat. This is where we just like, ooh, we got kind of seeing from kind of the same way we saw from the Juggle Hunter's perspective in the trees. Now we're going to a completely new location, and we're seeing like all this equipment the Predator's using to clean the skulls, get the flesh off of it and everything. He's, sanding it and stuff. So he's clearly in the. I mean, I guess we didn't even know it was a ship, but it's his domain at this point. Well, we're seeing it for the first time, but it's his ship. And again, it's reminiscent of the aesthetic of AVP, how the ships look, like at least in the pyramid, because it looks like stone. It's like machinery and stone amalgamation. It's cool. It's cool design. I like. Again, the aesthetic of this movie is very good. And then next scene, I think Danny Glover, he's going to see the grave of his of Danny Boy, and we get this one scene like when he parks his car, he's going to the grave. This couple's like, all right, you wait in here, son. We go pay respects to your grandma and grandpa. And the kid's like, fuck that. He gets out of his car, he's got a toy gun. He's like, which I always hated that sound growing up. And he's just running around. He's like, shooting at Danny Glover. Danny Glover's like, fuck you, kid. The kid fucking nearly pisses himself because then he sees the Predator, chat. The Predator's in the graveyard too. And the fucking Predator's just staring at this kid. We see the vision where he's like, got the laser pointer, looks at the gun, realizes, oh, that's a toy gun. And the Predator doesn't kill the kid, chat. So again, it establishes the Predator, much like in the original film, he's hunting for sport. He's hunting people who have weapons, so he's not going to hurt this little fleshy, chubby child. He's not going to do that. And the kid, is like, I just made a new friend. And he pulls out some candy. Want some candy? And the Predator's like, that's fucking funny. I'm going to use that later. And he edits that line in there, chat. And the kid runs up. He's like, Mom, Dad, I saw a ghost. He doesn't know what's happening. Danny Glover, he goes to the grave of Danny Boy, chat. He lays his badge there. He lays a picture of them. He's like, I'll see you. Rest, my friend. I'll see you later. Get the music from Predator playing here, chat. During the sad moment when fucking Mac was being very emotional over the death of Blaine, Jesse Ventura. But then when Danny Glover turns to leave, chat, he sees on the tree the necklace of Danny Boy. He goes, what the fuck? And he takes that, chat. He's like, what the hell? And then he hears the prayer. He's like, whoa. Oh, he's like pointing his gun everywhere. He's pointing the gun at the kid, pointing the gun at the couple. It's like, what's happening? Oh, we're going to find out, chat. Because then we have cut to the subway system of Los Angeles, chat. And we're following Bill Paxton and Maria. And Maria's like, I fucking need to sit down. I got the bubbly guts. I'm very hot. And he's like, we'll find a seat over there. And while this is all happening, chat, we see these gang members, not affiliated with the Colombian drug cartel, not affiliated with the Jamaican drug cartel. No, there's just some goddamn street urchin level thugs, chap. And they're harassing all these people, just kind of fuck with them. They get to this one nerdy looking guy, and he's like, hey man, I need some cash from a surgery. And then one guy's like, oh yes, I'll get that for you, my briefcase. He pulls up, he's like, I have a gun, I know how to use this. And he's like pointing at everybody. This is a good line, though. And then one of the gang members goes, oh, yeah, and mine's bigger. And he's like a giant magnum, chat. They steal his gun. And it's like, ooh, shenanigans are being had. And fucking Bill Pax and Maria, they're running up there as fast as possible to make sure there's not an incident, a murder on the train, chick. And they have a moment where they're not trying to fight somebody. But wow, this is all going... Oh, what's so funny? So they all pull out their weapons on these guys, and then half the fucking train pulls out their weapons too. I mean, everyone. A fucking grandma, she's rocking a goddamn revolver, chap. Long barrel revolver. Like, everyone's rocking a weapon here. It's like half the train at least. It's pretty funny. And then while this is going down, the person's like, I smell guns. Ooh, how delicious they are. Fucking Predator's there, chap. Cuts off the electricity to the car, and he busts on in there, chat, and he just starts to stab, impale, blast everything that he can possibly see. And he is going after everybody. He's like, you got a weapon, you are fucking prey to me. I don't care how old you are. He's killing kids who are like 16 years old, ripping their spine and skulls out, chat. Sees a grandma. We don't see him like kill her, but we know what happened. Saw him reaching towards that old grandma head and smushed that grandma head, chat. It's terrible. And Bill Pax is like, Maria, you got to get these people out of here. You got to get the rest of these people out. And so she's pushing all these people forward, and we get the climactic battle between Bill Pax and the Predator, chat. It goes about as well as Bill Paxton's climatic battles between the Terminator and the aliens, because he's like, he tries his best, chat. He's fucking loading his pistol, he's blasting this thing. Predator's like, oh, it's adorable. And then, of course, you get the last, like, when, fuck you too. He always carries around like a golf ball because he loves the golf. He throws the golf ball at the Predator. Predator's like, what the fuck is this? Okay, that's adorable. And then he just kills Bill Paxton, chat. Stabs the shit out of him, guts him, all that. And then the train does stop. Maria gets all the passengers up to like the first few cars. She turns on the fire alarm. And then everyone just starts pouring out. And like, what the fuck was... Again, the Predator does not give a shit about stealth at this point. Just does not care. And then she goes all the way to the back of the train. She's like, oh my God. And she opens it up, chat. Everybody's been strung up. Bill Paxton, he's dead. He's disemboweled. It's like, no. And then she turns around, chat. The Predator! And he grabs her by the neck and he lifts her up and slams her against the train. But then, chat, he's like, you got some bubbly guts down there. What's going on? She's like, oh my God. He looks at her tummy, chat. She's pregnant. She's pregnant, which is a weird plot point. I guess, again, it's just to showcase that. Because the Predator didn't let her go. He's like, okay, I'm not interested. It's to showcase the Predator. Again, he's not like a... I don't know. I guess he is... I don't know how to describe him. Because you think of like an alien, like how would an alien view us? Like we're just some low level, primitive species. Like, we're an ant to the predator. He's like, I don't care. You're just food. I used to hunt you. I mean, like, he treats us like deer or something like that. But he's like, well, I'm not going to kill you because you got a baby inside you. So I think they set up that the predator, like, the culture of the Utah, as they're called, chat, they have a code. They have a weird sense of morality. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool that they're establishing that. And so then he fucking, is like, okay, that was bad. He's like, okay, we're establishing he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. Get it? And then eventually Danny Glover, he hears all about that. So he fucking speeds on over, chat. He goes to the sub. He's like, what the hell happened? What's going on? And they're loading up Maria into the ambulance, chat. And the guy goes, I hear fetal heartbeats. We got someone who prego. He's like, I didn't know that was happening. I was not told. Weird plot point. But again, to show the morality of the predator, chat, Danny Glover doesn't know this. He doesn't know this. And so they load her up, chat. She's out of the movie for the rest of the film. The end goes to the goddamn cars, and he sees his friend, the captain, and captain's like, yeah, we can't find Bill Paxton. And Danny Glover's like, fuck, where the hell did he go? It's like, we don't know. Like, we have no idea. And then Danny Glover, he takes off looking, chat, because he sees like a blood trail. He's like, I'm going to follow this shit. Let's see where this goes. And he runs out there, chat, and he fucking sees Bill Paxton's head and spine being ripped from his body. Like, Bill Paxton, after death, not great circumstances, sees this thing fucking rip his spine and skull out and runs. And Danny Glover's like, fuck you! And he runs after that guy, goes up a ladder, chat, and then they have I think they have a bit of a battle here. Yeah, so they go up there, and then they start wrestling, chat. They start wrestling a little bit, but then Danny Glover, he can't get a beat on. Oh, no, because that's what happens. They wrestle a little bit, and the Predator, it starts, again, not caring about stealth at all, starts jumping on cars and people, and gets up to the side. People are like, what the fuck is that thing? It's pulling a Spider-Man. And it crawls on the side of the building. Danny Glover's like, fuck that. He gets into his car, chat, and he's following this thing as best he can. He sees the Predators going some kind of direction. We get a glory shot of the Predator with the skull and the bloodied skull and spine, gore hanging off of it, and him just screaming up into the night. He has the combo stick. Lightning hits the combo stick, and that should have killed him, I think, but I guess it didn't. And he's just like, I love this. This is a great vacation. And eventually, it's going to a specific destination. We don't know why. And Danny Glover's, I'm just going to keep following this fucking thing in my car. And all of a sudden, Danny Glover is fucking sideswiped by a big old black van, chat. And all these federales pour out, chat, and they grab Danny Glover, and they take him to this, this tractor trailer thing. This elongated tractor trailer. They put him in there, filled with all this equipment, chat. And then who's there, chat? Gary fucking Busey. Gary Busey's like, I see you found our secret abode. Danny Glover goes, I didn't find shit. Your guys brought me here. He's like, I'm going to tell you all the exposition now. And he said, 10 years ago, there was a incident in the jungles of Guatemala. Arnold Schwarzenegger and this other girl were the only survivors, and we believe it was an alien encounter. The bomb that went off, described, which they name dropping, chat, name dropping, described by Arnold Schwarzenegger, said it would take out more than 300 city blocks, which is very big. Like, I knew that explosion was big in the first one. I didn't know it was that big. And he's like, this thing, this alien, this predator, if you will, it's here to hunt us. The most dangerous prey goes to hot spots, both when they're very, very hot, everyone's sweaty, and also when there's the most violence. And it comes here every other season, and it hunts all these people. And Danny Glover's like, that's fucked up. He's like, it is fucked up. Now, I don't endorse his tactics, but I want his technology. Like, we can use this. Uncle Sam can use this for the benefit of the entire world, and we're going to get it. And we set up a trap. Apparently, he comes to this warehouse every 2 days. It's a slaughterhouse. He has a taste for beef, and we have set up with multiple cameras and shit. We have we've layered. It's very odd. We've put down the temperature. We're gonna wear temperature dampening suits, and we filled the room with radioactive dust. I don't know. I guess it fucks with the Predator's technology, but also basically keeps them from being seen. Sandy, hello, Sandy. Welcome to the stream. Just in the middle of the scene with Gary Busey. And so it's like, the Predator's fucking in there, Gary Busey, you gotta go in. He's like, go ahead. You're gonna watch history in the making, Danny. Also, we get a great line from Gary Busey, because he's saying, Danny Glover's like, so he hunts people? Oh yeah, man, he hunts people. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. No, that was a very Gary Busey-esque line. And so they got this thing in the warehouse, like, it's in there, boss. Like, I'm gonna go in there and see history in the making. And he loads up with all his boys shit. Kind of the technology looks very similar to the stuff from Aliens. Like, I don't know if they have a smart gun, but like things are connected to things. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Like their guns have like an attachment that goes away to the back. They have like cryo guns. They want to freeze them. They want to capture them, chat, for study, which they kind of do eventually in The Predator. See how that went. And so they go in there, chat, and they're looking around like, we got to beat on him. He's up above you, but he's going around to the beef. And the Predator's like, you know what? There's something weird about this room. Like, I don't remember it being this. I don't remember it being this fucking cold. It's like, you know what? I can't put my fucking goddamn long taloned finger on it, but there's just something not sitting right with me. And Gary Busey and his boys, they're just like, oh, this thing hunts by heat. He has thermal vision, so we're fucking gonna just dampen that thermal vision. It'll be fine. But I was like, you know what? I should turn on my plethora of other visions to see. It was like, that's what they established. That the Predator has multiple different settings on his helmet, chat. And so he's going through all this shit. He's like, nope. Ah, there's those motherfuckers. I see them. There they all are. I can see them via their flashlights, chat. And so he's like, I'm going to kill these suckers. So he goes down there, chat, and he just begins stabbing and blasting. And the guys in the control room are like, oh my God, what do we do? Dave goes, you got to go out there and save them. They're like, oh, but this was how was it supposed to go? He's like, oh, you fucking morons. I'm going to go in there myself. So goddamn Danny Glover, he goes out to his car, chat. He starts loading up, gets his M16, fucking with grenade launcher attachments, get his big, just giant, his big dick Mozambique chef, Apex Legends, puts that in his thing. He gets a sawed-off shotgun, or no, not even a sawed-off shotgun, it's like a mini pump. I guess, no, it's like a mini auto shotgun he has. So he's loaded up. He's got his a huge Kevlar vest on with a metal plate. He's like, I'm ready to fucking go. And so the Predator, he slaughtered everyone in this room. It's a fun action scene. He slaughtered everyone. Gary Busey's the last one alive. He's just about to blast him, Chad. He's got his little plasma caster trained right on those big shiny teeth. But what happened, chat? Fucking Danny Glover uses his M16 grenade launcher, blasts a huge fucking hole in the door. Predator's like, ooh, darling. He just, all the attention is on Danny Glover, and this is a great scene. His plasma, without even looking, the plasma caster turns around and just shoots Gary Busey. And Gary Busey goes, ah, and just he explodes, chat. He's dead, or is he? And then we just get a fucking match between Danny Glover and the Predator. And here's the thing, Danny Glover has the Predator on the rope, shack, because he just pulls out his gun and he just starts shooting him. The Predator's like, oh, fuck. Holy shit. The Predator's just like, damn. Like, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, oh, shit, my plasma caster? Oh, he fucking ruined my plasma caster. Shit. He throws it off, chat. He's like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I think he gets his spear gun and he fires it at Danny Glover and it fucking hits him. He's like, oh, and he flies all the way back, chat. It's like, oh no. And Bird's like, I got this, guys. I got this. I'm good. And, yeah. And so he fucking goes over to Danny Glover, and Danny Glover, he just fucking surprised Bird. He has his auto shotgun, chat. And he just begins to lay into the Predator. And slug after slug after slug. The Predator's like, what the fuck? And he's down, chat. He falls down. And blah. And Danny's like, well, that was fucked up. But I'm going to, like, take off your mask now. Because I shouldn't double tap. He just kind of pokes him a little bit. He's like, I'm just going to, I shouldn't double tap. Just keep going into him. Use my giant pistol, my big dick Mozambique, fire that into him. It's like, nah, I'm just going to take his mask off, chat. So he takes the mask off, chat. And again, very similar to the Predator from the original film. But it's a little different. It has more, like, mandibles. It's a little more, has more, its head's larger. It has, like, these hairs around it, too. Different kind of skin designs. Like, I like that they all look different. And we get this, that's so stupid. Because Danny Glover, he says the line, chat, you are one ugly mother, and it cuts to the Predator's face, opens its eyes, and says, the Predator, chat, says, motherfucker. And he grabs Danny Glover and throws him. Now, that does not work. I don't care who you are. That falls flat on his face. You take away the throw of a line like that. You shouldn't even use it. Don't bring back old lines. Like, I don't know. I have no idea why they feel the need to do that with, like, characters who have no, you know, it's the same thing with, like, Star Wars. Like, I have a bad feeling about this. Like, stop it. You know, it works for the original trilogy. You don't need to bring it back again. There's no point to it. And it's just, it's not funny. It's not like everyone thinks that when Arnold Schwarzenegger says in the original film, that's such a great line. You know, and the person's like, that's his reaction. But when you do it here, it's just like, you try, you know, because nothing's more funny, chat, than doing the same joke multiple times over and over and over again. So, the Predator, he fucking gets up, even though he's a ton of slugs in his body, chat, leaking Mountain Dew, and he's about to, go to toe with Danny Glover, chat. But then who jumps in between them? It's goddamn Gary Busey, looking like Two-Face, chat, because half his face and body is horrifically burned. It's like melting off. He's like, this is between us, Danny Glover. You gotta get the hell out of here, man. And then Gary Busey just begins firing off the crowd. The Predator's like, oh, it's cold, my nips. Like, the Predator's nips, chat, they're very icy, and he does not like that, and he kind of falls back a little bit. And then we see it, chat. We see it. Solo Mighty. Thank you so much, sir, for the $5 donation. Again, guys, thank you so much for all the support right now. In case I missed you before, thank you so much. We're getting towards the end of the film. And the fucking Predator's like, all right, fuck this. And he takes out the Smart Disc, chat. And again, Smart Disc, cool new weapon, but I hate how he throws it. And the throw doesn't look great. The throw kind of looks, all right, the effects aren't this bad. But what happens with it's cool. It fucking goes right through goddamn Gary. Cuts him in two, chat. This is kind of a weird scene because it cuts him in two. His legs fall down. But we don't see the top half fall down. We see like a whole bunch of blood. Like it was leaking, like the top half was suspended in midair. What happened to the top half? Some weird editing there or just a weird effect. I was like, I like what was supposed to happen, but how it happened was bizarre to me. Anyway, so Gary Busey got sawed in half. Dan Glover's like, fuck this. I am not going to deal with this. And then Dan Glover's like, I'm just going to take off. And Predator's like, I'm going to get you, bitch. And he just starts chasing after Danny Glover, chat. They have a little bit of a battle on the roof. They start some wrestling, chat. Predator, he has his big old combo stick. He throws it. Danny Glover misses. Predator's hurting too. He's like, God fucking damn it. These slugs hurt my tummy. And Danny Glover, he grabs the combo stick, chat, and he's like, you could have... Oh, Predator's a big fucking guy. It's a 7-foot alien, probably 400 pounds, chat. Let's say 400. Let's be conservative. 400 pounds. And he's like prime right there. The ass was just sticking out. And he runs at this thing, misses, but he hits the Predator. They tumble over a building, chat. And the Predator has stabbed the Smart Disc into the side of the building. And he has his other hand, his left hand, holding on to Danny Glover. And Danny Glover's like, well, it's your move now. And the Predator says, shit happens. That's not funny. It does not work. You can't have the Predator says, shit happens, man. It's like, no. And the Predator's like, all right, I'm going to fucking hold on to you now. But by the way, the Predator's like at least 400 pounds, chat. He then takes his hand off the Smart Disc. Danny Glover should just fall off the roof or his arm would have been ripped out of his fucking socket. But Predator, he pulls up his little gauntlet, chat, beep, bop, boop, sets it off. The device is counting down, just like it did the original film. Danny Glover like realizes, like, that's probably not good. He reaches for the Smart Disc, chat, and he cuts the Predator's hand off, right at where the gauntlet is. Now, it's weird, because I'm thinking, well, shouldn't that have activated the bomb? Like, shouldn't it just, like, boom? But I guess not. It doesn't have that feature. And Predator goes, oh, shit! And the Predator starts falling, chat. He's trying to hold on, which apparently they use an actual... man who was missing an arm for this for this scene. Yeah, they had him in the suit. Actually, a guy missing an arm. So he's falling, chat. Predator grabs onto a goddamn sewer. I guess it's like what the fuck it is. The like a guardrail or something. A pipe. He grabs on a wall pipe, chat. Falls over to the next building. Crashes through to a bathroom. He's like, ow! Ow! Danny Glover's just trying to catch his breath. He's terrified of heights, as Styles here in the film, so he still has to go after the Predator, chat, so he's trying his best. Meanwhile, Predator's like, I need a second here. And he just begins to take the tiling. It's very weird. Begins to take the tiling out of the bathroom, the mirror that he's in out of the bathroom, crunching them up of his hands. He gets his medical equipment out, and he laces the crumbly mirror and ceramic bits with a goo, like a blue goo. And then he puts all that shit, like a big old mass, into this little heater thing. And it just congeals into a substance. He's like, that looks good. And he gets a big old spoon, chat, and he just begins to lather that shit on his arm. And he's just, he's screaming his ass off. Meanwhile, chat, in the next room, because of course you need another comedic bit. This fucking old woman comes out of her bedroom and says, Frank, I think someone's in the bathroom. And we just hear this monster scream. Like, of course someone's in the bathroom. And he's lathering all that on. He injects his tummy with some medicine. Another scream, and fucking the old woman, she grabs the broom, Chad. That counts as the weapon. This old woman's gonna get it. And then Danny Glover, he's almost to the next, he climbs up the pipe where the Predator was. Predator's like, okay, I'm feeling better. And he just fucking pulls a Kool-Aid man, Chad. Oh, yeah. And he blasts right past the old woman. She's like, ah! And he just goes down this hallway, Chad, blasts through their front door. And he is just, again, no cloaking device. Everyone's seeing the Predator at this point. He's just fucking waltzing, just running. I mean, he's stumbling a little bit because he's fucked up to this area. To the elevators. Danny Glover, he climbs in. We get a good line here. Now, this is the funny line. He's like, don't worry, ma'am. I'm LAPD. She says, I don't think he gives a shit. That is an example of a funny line, chat. And Danny Glover, he fucking runs out there. He sees the Predator jump into... the Predator, like, rips open the elevator doors, and he just fucking jumps in. And he goes like, I'm gonna get you, bitch! And he comes after him, chat. And he sees an elevator coming down. He's like, fuck that. He climbs down via the ropes, Chad. He's like, where the hell did the Predator go? What is this? And the elevator's coming down. It's going to crush Danny Glover. He's like, oh, shit. Ah! And he lets go, Chad. He lets go, and he lands on top of something. And he stands up. He realizes, like, holy shit. This is a giant spaceship. And he goes down into it, and he enters it. I love the design of the spaceship, Chad. It's really, really cool. Now, I could see where Paul Anderson, he was influenced by the look of the ship because he applied it to AVP. Where you're in the pyramid, you have all the stone architecture, but it's advanced. And that's kind of what the Predator ship looks like. Even like the area that we're in, it almost looks like a training room type of thing. And we get some really cool moments. I mean, inevitably they weren't cool because of the movies we got, but we entered the room, chat. Danny Glover's looking, it's all like it's missed at like kind of knee level, like kind of waist knee level. He's going through this and he sees the Predator trophy room. Of all these different skulls of alien creatures, human skulls as well. But then we see it there, Chad. This is the first establishment. Like these two films franchises take place in the same universe. We see an alien skull. And it probably was just done as a little fun Easter egg. And because I think at this, like after this, they had already started doing crossovers in comics and they were preparing to do video games and things. And it's just sad because I was watching this movie, it's like, man, this would have been, one, it probably made people really excited for the time. But it's so disappointing because of the movies that we got. Like Alien vs. Predator, it's a fun film. I give it a high rental. I don't hate it. You know, it could be infinitely better. There's no doubt about it. But like AVP Requiem is dog shit. That's one of the worst. That's probably if I put like together like a top 20 worst films of all time for me personally, that would be on that list. And it's just sad we never got like a good Alien vs. Predator movie because there could have been. There could have been, and maybe there still can be, chap. I don't know. But he sees all this shit. He also he has the disc as well. He has the smart disc, and he turns around, Shane. He gets fucking blasted by the smart net, and he's on the wall. He's like, ah! He's digging the skin, but the smart disc is so sharp, he cuts himself out of it, chat. And then he's just squared off with the Predator at this point, chat. The Predator's got his wrist gauntlets, and they're just going. We get like a duel. You get a duel between Danny Glover and the Predator, and a lot of people reference this scene of it being goofy, and they kind of like, oh, look at Danny Glover trying to hold toe-to-toe with the Predator. Like at this point, I think it's realistic because they are both exhausted. Predator he's lost an arm. Like stay with me now. He's lost an arm. He's been plugged multiple times with shotgun shells. He lathered his stump in ceramic and glass, and he's probably he's hungry. He's hungry too because he didn't get his beef, Jay. He wanted to eat some beef. He couldn't get that, so I think Danny Glover could take him. And so they go through this duel, chat. Looks at the Predator, finally has the advantage, though. But Danny Glover, he just fucking stabs upward, chat. And he cuts the Predator, like, from the goddamn ball sack all the way up, chat. All the way up to the chest. And he digs in there. And he's like, he just digs in there. And all the Mountain Dew falls. So the Predator just fucking stumbles and falls back, chat. Danny Glover, he gets back up there. And he cuts through the mist. And the Predator is indeed dead. Bat Shield, thank you for the 10 biddies, my friend. As dumb as this sounds, if I was in this situation in real life, it'd be an honor. Right? It'd be kind of cool. I agree with you, man. Fuck this people. Danny Glover's fucking... He's cool. I think the scene works when you think of the context that they're in right now. The Predator was beating the shit. There's no question about that. And so Danny Glover's like, fuck, well, good. I won. But then, Chad, he hears him, he sees, just when he turns around about to leave, fucking Predator-like comes on him. Then another Predator-like, like, and all this huge group of Predators, they all decloak. Chad, this is actually a cool scene. Some of the effects are dated because they're not in the scene itself. I think they probably just had one actor and they just dressed him in various designs. It's a weird choice because they put them in there via like some CGI nonsense. Not even CGI. I wouldn't know what the term would be. And we see them all different armors and setups and things. And Danny Glover is like, fucking, all right, who's next? Let's go. But they're like, nah, no, good on you, Danny Glover. They pick up the one guy that died. They carry him off. And we see kind of like the oldest Predator, the elder Predator, I believe. And he's just, touching his chin hairs, Chad. He's got like a whole bunch of skulls on him. Like, clearly this guy's been through some shit. He's got like a cool sword. The elder sword, Chad, which is in the Predator Hunting Grounds game. He has a big old sword. But you know what? He's about to leave. But he's like, you know what, Danny Glover, you put on a goddamn good show. Have this. And he takes out a gun, Chad, throws it towards Danny Glover, grabs it. It's a fucking 18th century pistol, Chad, from the 1700s. It has someone's name on it and embroiled. And with their 1750s, like, what the fuck? And Predator goes, see you later! And then he goes through a different hallway, Chad, door shut, and the ship's about to blast off. And Danny Glover's like, I don't want to go to space. No, thank you. And he just fucking books it, Chad. He jumps off the ship, and he just starts running as fast as he can, and the Predator ship goes, boom! Explodes forward. He gets blasted because of the exhaust, Chad, and then, he cuts. It's like, what happened to Glover? Then, really cool scene here. He wakes up, and flintlock pistol, yeah, it's like a pirate pistol, exactly, flintlock pistol. And he wakes up and he's covered in ash. And he's just, he's coughing. And he just goes towards the direction the ship went. He walks out there, chaps, you see a big old hole. And he's like, Jesus Christ. He's looking up there. He's like, there it is, there's it going. And then he sees the helicopter that Gary Busey's always in. Gary Busey's not back. He's not back, but the helicopter lands. Some of the federales show up there. It's like, damn it, Danny Glover, we almost had him. And they see the cops coming. He takes off. And Danny Glover's like, don't worry, motherfucker. They'll be back. And it's true, but not for 14 years. And then, chap, that is Predator 2. That's the end of the movie. As I said before, I think it's a fun film. It has its issues, especially in like the last act, the last 2/3. It's like, there's something I just don't like. The humor falls flat. Some of the characters you just don't really care about. You're like, I actually just want you to die. And like Danny Glover does a good job. There's some really fun action scenes, but there's a couple of missteps that I struggle to forgive. I love the aesthetic of the film. I love that we're in an urban environment instead of a jungle. I think that was smart. That was a smart thing by the filmmakers in the studio to do that. But sadly, a lot of the stuff in there was a mixed bag. So, but it's still entertaining. I would give it a matinee. It's a solid matinee. Yeah, too campy, RJ. It's way too campy. And King DJ, thank you for the 20 biddies, my friend. Welcome. What's up, Chris? How is your night going? Very well, man. Just did my review for Predator 2. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, recommend seeing a matinee. I paid about $4 for it on Amazon. Worth that. I think it'd be worth that. I want to give it a watch. I'm going to watch some of the films. And it's still the third best in the franchise because The Predator is bullshit. That movie sucks. But Predators and Predator 2, all entertaining. They bitched out Predator. A hardball one, welcome to stream. Toss up Predator 2 or Predators for the second best. For me, I think Predators is the second best film in the franchise. They do a lot more. I mean, they go back to the jungle aesthetic, sure, but I like that it takes place on an alien world, so again, it's also new. They have a bunch of different personalities that don't want to work together, but the film does do some dumb things. There's some really stupid plot twists in the film. It's like, that was not even necessary, but to each their own. But Glee, welcome to stream, and thank you for the 50 biddies and a hard-boiled one. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, you're my new Huckleberry. Hope you're doing well tonight. Yes. Oh, Darkslayer with the 5 biddies. Thank you. AP Requiem is dog shit. No, I agree. Yeah, that's the worst one of all the franchises. The AVP is the worst. Can't see that shit. Can't see shit in that movie. Yeah, it's very dark too. Yeah, and you know what? The Fishburne thing. It would have been cool. Like, I don't like how it played out with Fishburne. Again, the reasons why he was doing what he was doing was stupid to me. But I think it would have been neat if the person on the planet that they ran into that would help them for the rest, just help them for the rest of the movie and survived with them, was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think that would have made a lot more sense. He's like, yeah, they clearly were interested in him. They captured him, and he's part of the prey on this planet, but he's survived so long. But not have him be like, I want to rape that woman. It's like, what? All that bullshit. And he wants to kill all those people. It's like, no. What the hell is going on? Yeah, there was just some dumb choices in that. Show, think of the 20 biddies. Are Mountain Dew paying you for... No, man, no, they're fucking paying the Predator. He's leaking Mountain Dew. Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne was wasting that film. It's like, oh, it's kind of cool, but yeah, it just didn't work. Apparently, the producer of the film, Robert Rodriguez, he didn't direct it, but he produced it. The original ending for the movie would have been Adrian Brody and I forget the actress who plays the sniper in the film, but they survive and the Predator ship comes down and they're like, oh, here they all come. It's kind of like similar to Predator 2, and all these Predators walk out, but they're like in 2 rows and they surround Adrian Brody and the sniper, but it's like in a specific lines, and there's this elder-looking Predator that suddenly appears at the top and comes down, and they're like, what the hell is this? And the Predator takes their mask off, and it's like, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I still think would have been dumb. I was like, wait a minute. What? And then the line would have been, Arnold says, you did good, kid. It's like, what? That would have been just as stupid as any of the plot twists in that film. No, that doesn't make... Why would he join the Predators? No. Why? Do what you know. You're out of sync a bit? I'm out of sync? Am I out of sync? Elise Braga. Am I out of sync, chat? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not to me? Okay. Go ahead and try refreshing. Nope. Okay, I just want to be sure. No. Always let me know there's some technical issues. Doom a tiny bit in sync. Okay. Would I like a Predator 5? I mean, yeah. I mean, I would like a. I don't know. The thing is that the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise have been mishandled for years at this point. I mean, no, Predators was probably the best that of anything in either franchise produced in terms of films in 20 years. So Predators seem to be like, oh, you kind of brought it back a little bit, but I guess audiences just didn't respond to it. I mean, it made more money than the Predator 2, but yeah, I mean, I would like it. I think you would need to. Maybe even films isn't the right way to go with these franchises anymore. Like, I'll tell you this. Like, if I did Alien, just do what they should have done years ago. Tell the story of Ripley, Newt, and Hicks, and Bishop, or whoever, set years after the events of Aliens. Ignore the rest of the films. Tell that story, then end it. Just end it. Predator, it'll be hard. I think it would be interesting to continue on. I don't know, they probably won't do this, but they continue on after Predators. Maybe bring Arnold in there. Maybe bring down. I just don't know. But no, Donald Glover would be old. Danny Glover would be old by that point, so I wouldn't bring him back either. I think I would like to see Arnold in some capacity in a sequel. But then find a way. That's the last movie. That's the last movie. Continue on after, like, have Predator, Predator 2, Predators, and then whatever Predator 5 is going to be. That's that story. I don't know. But chat, I'm just going to eat. Now, you're right. He's too old, too. I know. I'm just thinking. But chat, I'm just going to go ahead and freshen my beverage. I have to do another review. I got to do Spider-Man Episode 10. We're in the double goddamn digits. It's in the last part of the Alien costume, chat. Alien costume part 3. So please go ahead and bear with me. Entertain yourselves amongst yourselves. I shall return with more whiskey.